Hello everyone. Today in this video we are actually going to discuss how we can determine magnetic field in a region by using a compass needle. We will see that when a compass needle, which is free to move in a horizontal plane, rotate in a horizontal plane, how we can use that compass needle to find the magnetic field at that region. We will also discuss some of the similarities between the solenoid, current carrying solenoid and a bar magnet. So first of all we discuss how we can represent or determine the magnetic field using a compass needle. So let us first take the diagram of this compass needle. See here, a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field B is shown, which is shown by the arrows drawn from the left to the right, which are equidistant from each other, showing that the magnetic field is uniform. And we have placed a magnetic needle here where the south pole to the north pole the magnetic dipole acts, which makes an angle theta with the magnetic field. Now in this situation it will experience a torque. It will experience a torque because a force acts on it in opposite directions. A force acts on this end along the direction of the magnetic field, and here in the south pole it acts along this direction, because of which it experiences a torque, and that torque will try to align itself in the direction of magnetic field, which is the position of stable equilibrium. So that torque is known as restoring torque, which tries to bring it back to the stable equilibrium position. Okay? And that value of torque is given by tau is equal to mb sine theta. This m is the dipole moment, magnetic dipole moment. B is the magnetic field, and sine of the angle between M and B. So this is the restoring torque which we are having here. This tries to align the dipole in the direction of the magnetic field, which is the stable equilibrium position. Now the value of torque, suppose we want to maintain it in this position, so we have to apply the torque, and the value of torque which should be applied so that there is an angular acceleration of alpha, a moment of inertia I is used, and the value of torque is given by I alpha. That means I alpha is the torque which acts on the dipole, because of which the dipole maintains its position as shown in the figure. So that is the rotating torque, and if this is the position of equilibrium, then we can say that the restoring torque and the rotating torque is I alpha and the restoring torque is mb sine theta. They are equal and opposite. So we can represent them with a negative sign, mb sine theta with a negative sign, which will be equal to I alpha. Now the condition here is the sine theta, the value of theta is very small. We are considering the angle to be very small. So in that case, instead of writing mb sine theta, we write mb theta. So minus mb theta, which is equal to I alpha. I is the moment of inertia and alpha represents the angular acceleration. So from this we get a value which we can write as alpha is equal to minus mb upon I into theta. Now this relation is very important. This is very important because in simple harmonic motion we know that acceleration is given by, it has a negative value. Acceleration has to be negative for a motion to be simple harmonic, and secondly acceleration has to be directly proportional to the displacement y. So for a motion to be a simple harmonic motion, acceleration has to be negative, and should be directly proportional to the displacement. Now same is the case here. Here we are considering rotational motion, so instead of linear acceleration we have angular acceleration alpha, which is negative and which is directly proportional to the angular displacement. So therefore the way in which time period is represented in linear motion, 2 pi root over y by a. Now here instead of y by a, for rotational motion we will have theta by alpha. Instead of y by a we will be having theta by alpha. So the equation for time period will become 2 pi root over theta by alpha, and theta by alpha will be I by mb. We will take the magnitude only, so it will be I by mb. So I hope this is clear to you. So if we consider this, then you can see here the value of time period will be given by 2 pi, which just now I have mentioned, root over theta by alpha, which is given by root over I by mb. So the value of time period we have obtained, but we need to find the value of magnetic field B. And the value of magnetic field B, to find its value we will square the term, so which will be T square will be equal to 4 pi square I by mb. The root term will vanish here. So from this we can find the value, or we can write the value of B, which is 4 pi square I upon mt square. The value of B will be given by 4 pi square I upon mt square. That means when you place a magnetic needle, you need to calculate the moment of inertia of the needle, then magnetic dipole moment and the time period. Then you can calculate the value of magnetic field in that region. So I hope this is very clear to you. The next thing which we are going to discuss is some of the similarities between the bar magnet and the solenoid. That is, we call it bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. They exactly represent the same thing. So the solenoid has to be a current carrying solenoid, then only it will represent the bar magnet. So some of the similarities are there. The first similarity is a current carrying solenoid suspended freely always comes to rest in the north-south direction. We all know that when we take a bar magnet, when we suspend it freely, then it always aligns itself in the direction of the Earth's north and south. Same happens to a current carrying solenoid also. So they behave similarly. Next is, two current carrying solenoids exhibits mutual attraction and repulsion when they brought closer to one another. This shows that their end faces acts as north and south pole like that of a bar magnet. Okay? That means when we consider two current carrying solenoid, they behaves as a bar magnet. It has one north pole and one south pole. When they are brought closer, their ends are brought closer to each other, we find that either they attract each other or they repulse each other. This is exactly the same behavior when we consider a bar magnet. When we bring the ends together, then they may either attract or repel. That means a current carrying solenoid has a north pole and a south pole at its ends. Now next point here. We will discuss a figure in which we will show the magnetic lines of force. Now you will see that these magnetic lines of force for a bar magnet as well as for a current carrying solenoid are exactly similar. See here, first for a bar magnet, you can see these are the magnetic lines of force, and in the similar manner for a current carrying solenoid also you can see the magnetic lines of force which are exactly same as that were present in the bar magnet. So that's why they are exactly similar. Only thing you need to remember is a simple solenoid will not behave as a magnet till current passes through it. That means you have to send the current through it, then only it starts behaving as a bar magnet. One more point or point of similarity we are going to discuss here. That similarity is when we take a bar magnet and a solenoid, and if we want to find the magnetic field on its axial line, like suppose you consider a bar magnet here. Suppose this is the bar magnet, and it has a, say, a south pole and a north pole, and on its axial line, this is the axial line. On its axial line, if we want to find the magnetic field at the point here, and we want to do the same thing in a solenoid also. Suppose we take a solenoid like this, we are considering a solenoid. Now on the axial line of the solenoid, suppose this is the axial line of the solenoid. If we want to find the magnetic field at this region, then the magnetic field, value of the magnetic field exactly is same, which is mu naught by 4 pi 2m by r cube, where r cube is the distance of the point from the center of the bar magnet or from the center of the solenoid. This m, don't get confused with this m. This m represents the magnetic dipole moment, not the magnetic field pole strength. So it is magnetic dipole moment. Generally we represent it by capital M. So this value of magnetic field is same both in the axial line, both for a bar magnet as well as for a solenoid. So I hope this is clear to you. Now here we take a solenoid and see this solenoid can be represented as to be having many turns, and if we take single turn, then in each term it has one phase as the south pole, another phase as the north pole. The next turn you can see again the south pole one phase and the north pole on the other. In this way, if we consider, we can consider it to be small magnetic bar or bar magnets having south and north, again south and north, and it continues. So you see that north and south, north of the one and the south of the other are placed together, so they cancel each other effect, and we are left out with a single south at one end and single north at the other end. So a solenoid is nothing but a combination of small bar magnets. So a solenoid can be considered to be behaving like a bar magnet only when current flows through it. So I hope that everything is clear to you, but still then if there is any doubt, then you can forward me the doubts. Thank you.